Hello book lovers, today I'm going to discuss this big book with you, Onwards by Howard Schultz, how Starbucks almost died and how they came together to save it. Right, so the first takeaway was that Starbucks in 2008 almost died. It's because of their focus on growth and not so much about the product itself. So that's what the book actually covered in the beginning. A lot of the management team realizes this and people were not focused on the coffee itself. So eventually, Howard decided to come back in 2008 to try and save the company. I thought it was very, very interesting to see how all of that pans out and how kind of the strategies they put in place moving forward after that. So one of the things they did was to close 7,100 stores across US. They did this to actually help their baristas learn how to make coffee the right way again. What they found out was that a lot of them were making it the wrong way, therefore the quality of the coffee wasn't so good. So they actually closed down all of their stores and gave them a one-day training on how to make an espresso and how to make all their various drinks taste the right way. So among all of that, they also had a couple of strategies in place, which I'll share later in the second takeaway. But the important thing to know in the book was that once they started to get their act going in 2008, 2009, the US recession was coming into play, and that was another exciting part of the book and how they actually try to maneuver around it and how they actually set expectations with the shareholders and and the public to actually inform them that they could potentially face another downfall in Starbucks, and they had to do to create a plan B for it, which eventually they adopted as plan A before the recession starts. The second takeaway is about how Starbucks came to be. I thought it was very interesting to know the heritage about it, and every time I walk into Starbucks stores, I know what to expect. For example, if you don't like your coffee, they will be more than willing to replace it. And if you don't like it again, they will replace it again. This means actually throwing in the coffee and making a new one for you. This is just the way Starbucks was designed to make sure that you get the right coffee when you get out. So how did Starbucks started? Pretty interesting. They started with 4 stores, and this was before Howard came into the picture. It was in Seattle, and they were actually selling coffee beans, just the beans. They don't actually make the drinks themselves. You actually have to buy the pack and go home and make the coffee yourself. So Howard was actually a marketing guy at the time, and he started in 1982. And after 1 year, he went to Italy, Milan, to walk the streets and finally stumbled upon a Italian coffee house. And he was mesmerized with the rituals and meeting the people there, how people actually go to that one coffee shop to stand there and drink early in the morning before they go to work, and it's a very communal thing. So Starbucks, Starbucks wasn't like that in America at that time. In America, it's all about drinking coffee to stay awake. It was more like just a beverage that you serve in polystyrene cups, right? It wasn't a ritual at the time. So Howard wanted to bring it back and to US, and of course the founders of Starbucks didn't share the same vision as him. So he left and he went out to create his own coffee company and expanded it quite fast and managed to raise some funds. So eventually, in life, as everything comes around again, he had the opportunity to buy Starbucks, and he did. And when he bought Starbucks, he actually stuck with the brand and the name. The third takeaway of the book I enjoyed is about the humility of Howard and his management team, the rawness of it, and how they have struggled along the way as the odds were stacked against them. The company wasn't doing so well. There were a lot of expectations on them. They need to cut costs, so that means their budget was very small to actually make changes, innovate on their products, innovate on their storefront. So they had to work all within these constraints, and at the same time, Wall Street was not confident of what they're doing. They had to lay off employees, and employees were unhappy with them. The customers wouldn't know where they're going, and sometimes the management team can be this small, right? You think that C-level people at the management team, they're high up there and they're big and they're running a big company, but this one shows you the humility of it, how they are really at the service of the community around them, their shareholders, their employees, their customers. They're really at service to them, and they had to execute very fast in order to save the company, in order to drive the vision and deliver the value back to everyone. So the pressure was immense, and it was in the book a couple of times. So what are the kind of innovative products that they have actually delivered into the marketplace that kind of like help Starbucks? I mean, it's still evident until today. One thing was the storefront, right? They wanted to create the future of what a coffee place should be or could be, and inspire the rest of the coffee community. So they weren't out to actually create an Italian coffee house, so they wanted to create something a bit more urban, a bit more environmental friendly, somewhere you can go to get inspired. You can see in all of their Starbucks stores with it, and their Starbucks Reserve. So that's one. The second thing was that before Howard came on board, they were serving different kinds of coffee beans across different kinds of outlets, so you won't get that consistent coffee taste. Sometimes it'll be too acidic, and sometimes it'll be too sweet or too bland or too flat. So it wasn't consistent, and customers actually pointed out that they should actually just standardize their coffee beans. So what they did was they came out with their own blend. It took them some time, which is in use until today. It's called Pike Place blend. It's really a combination between a drip brew rather than more like an espresso brew or press kind of brew, right? It's more of drip brew. So it's very versatile. It can be used across any of these ways of making coffee. And it's something that Howard and his team thought it would be very easy to drink and very easy on the palate. And that's how Pike Place blend came to be. I like how the book tells a story of Starbucks, how it became, how it struggled, how it came out from its struggles, and how it changed itself to become something more than just a coffee house. Something that is unimaginable, that a coffee place could be done this way and innovate this way, but that's what Starbucks did. And the breadth and the scale that they're actually operating is also very impressive. The second like about the book is the leadership of Howard. His genuine character and his openness came through the book. I could feel how genuine he is, and about his emotions, about the things that he has challenged with, including himself. Some of it he admit it was his wrongdoing, so it's something that I think inspires me as a leader. So all in all, this book will be quite golden for anybody who's running their own business. It's a reference book, I would find it. It's something to inspire you, to show you that, even though business is down, you can actually still have strategies in place to bring it up to speed again. And this is what Starbucks actually did. So for my keeper rating, it'll be 4 out of 5. I will keep this book in my shelf, definitely for my future references. I think it's pretty good, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think.